The late afternoon sun streamed through the tall windows of Clarence's house, casting long golden rectangles across the worn Persian rugs. Charles, King Charles III, sat behind his mahogany desk, the weight of the crown pressing down on him even in its physical absence. He was a man who had waited a lifetime for a role that brought him not peace, but a peculiar kind of imprisoned freedom. He glanced at the stack of red boxes, filled with state papers demanding his attention, but his mind was elsewhere, adrift in the quiet before the evening's obligations. Across from him, Kate, the Princess of Wales, sat poised on the edge of a winged armchair. She was a study in calm competence, her hands resting gracefully in her lap, but Charles knew her well enough by now to see the subtle tension in her shoulders. This was not a social call. Yet she had requested this private audience with a specific, gentle urgency that had immediately put him on guard. They had always shared a comfortable rapport, a meeting of minds between two people who had married into this extraordinary family and learned to navigate its turbulent waters. He trusted her implicitly, perhaps more than anyone else in the inner circle. "So, Catherine," he began, his voice a familiar, slightly raspy whisper. "To what do I owe this unexpected pleasure? William keeping you busy? The children?" Kate offered a small, reassuring smile. "They're all wonderful, thank you, Papa. George is becoming quite the historian, actually. Keeps asking about various battles. You'll have to prepare yourself for a lengthy interrogation at the next family dinner." Her smile faded as she looked directly at him, in her blue eyes holding a mixture of compassion and resolve. "But no, this isn't about the children. It's about something else. Something I felt you needed to see, and more importantly, needed to know, before anyone else." Charles's brow furrowed, a flicker of unease crossing his features. He had spent his entire life bracing for bad news, for revelations. It was the family business. "You're being very mysterious, my dear. You know I'm not fond of surprises." "I know," she said softly. She reached into her handbag and pulled out her mobile phone. After a few deft swipes on the screen, she leaned forward and placed it on the desk in front of him. "I need you to look at this. It's a photograph from an engagement last week. A small charity luncheon Camilla hosted at Highgrove. On the screen was a close-up image of his wife, Camilla, a queen consort. She was captured mid-laugh, her eyes crinkling with genuine mirth. It was a lovely natural shot, but Charles's attention was immediately violently seized by her left hand, which was raised slightly as she gestured. There on her pinky finger was a ring he did not recognize. It was a heavy-looking gold band, composed of what looked like 7 small circular plaques, each one engraved with faint ancient symbols. It was old, distinctive, and undeniably significant. "What is this?" Charles asked, his voice barely a murmur. He picked up the phone, zooming in on the image. The symbols became clearer. A boat, a lyre, an amphora, and a small unadorned shield. A cold, unfamiliar dread began to creep up his spine. "That's what I needed to find out," Kate said. "When I saw it, I knew it wasn't a piece I'd ever seen before. It's not from the royal collection, not a family heirloom that I'm aware of. So I did some quiet digging. I asked a very discreet contact at the Victoria and Albert Museum's jewelry department to take a look, just to satisfy my own curiosity. I didn't mention who was wearing it, of course." Charles's eyes remained fixed on the screen, his jaw tightening. He didn't like this. He didn't like the secrecy, the quiet digging. It felt like an intrusion, a picking at a lock he had long considered sealed. But he trusted Kate, so he remained silent, waiting for the blow he now felt certain was coming. "They confirmed it's an early 19th century piece," Kate continued, her voice gentle but clear. "Ionian, probably from Corfu. The symbols represent the 7 Ionian islands. The boat, the lyre, the amphora, they're all regional symbols. The blank shield is the key. It's not engraved with the English lion and crown, which suggests it was made before 1815, before the British Protectorate. It's a piece of specific personal history. Kate paused, letting the geography sink in. Corfu. The name hung in the air between them, heavy with meaning. Charles finally looked up from the phone, his eyes meeting Kate's. His expression was guarded, but a storm was clearly brewing behind it. Corfu, he repeated, the word catching slightly in his throat. Kate nodded slowly. It's the island where your father, Prince Philip, was born. He was born there in 1921, a prince of Greece and Denmark. The ring is essentially a tribute to the Ionian Islands, to Corfu. She let the implication settle. There is no documented provenance for this ring in any of the royal archives. I was made to honor that heritage. Was made to honor that heritage. The silence in the room became absolute. Charles stared at the image, his mind racing. He thought of his father, that gruff, formidable man who had been his greatest supporter and his most searing critic. He thought of Philip's own difficult childhood, the exile from Greece, the journey in a fruit crate. His father never spoke of it with self-pity, but Charles knew the loss of his homeland, his titles, his birthright, was a wound that never fully healed. This ring, a gold and onyx tribute to that lost world, felt like a piece of his father's soul, an artifact from a life he was forced to abandon. I have never seen this before, Charles said, and his voice now tight with controlled emotion. In all my years, I have never seen my father wear this. He never mentioned it. It's not in any inventory, it's not... His voice trailed off. I know, Kate said. I checked everything I could discreetly access. It's not listed anywhere. The question then is not what it is, but where did it come from? And how did it come to be on Camilla's finger? Charles set the phone down as if it were made of the most fragile glass. He leaned back in his chair, the leather creaking softly. The initial shock was giving way to a deeper, more unsettling current of thought. This wasn't a piece Camilla had bought at an auction. It wasn't a gift from a foreign dignitary. It was a profoundly personal object, tied to the most intimate history of his family, a history that didn't include her, not a history that began with his father and ended with him. A slow, creeping suspicion began to take root, fed by decades of shared history, of secrets, of a love that had caused so much collateral damage. He looked at Kate, a silent plea in his eyes, not wanting to voice the question that was now burning a hole in his mind. But Kate understood. Her expression told him everything. She believed Camilla had kept this from him, and that the secret of its origin was far more explosive than the ring itself. The afternoon sun had shifted, leaving the room in a dimmer, cooler light, and the temperature seemed to have dropped with it. The atmosphere at Burke Hall, their private residence in Scotland, was thick enough to cut with a knife. The grand fireplace in the drawing room crackled and spat, us a valiant but futile attempt to dispel the icy tension that had settled between Charles and Camilla since his arrival from London. He had made the journey alone, a sudden decision made after hours of sleepless turmoil following his conversation with Kate. He had told Camilla only that they needed to talk, away from the staff, away from the prying eyes of Clarence House. Now, standing by the mantelpiece, the fire warming his back, he watched his wife pour herself a glass of sherry with a hand that, to her credit, was perfectly steady. Camilla was a master of composure. She had spent a lifetime cultivating an air of unflappable calm, a necessary armor against the decades of public scorn. She wore it now like a favorite, worn coat. She took a sip of her sherry, her gaze meeting his over the rim of the glass. Greeting. "So, Charles," she said, her greeting. "So, Charles," she said, her voice even, almost bored. "You've flown all this way. The suspense is becoming rather tiresome. What is it that couldn't possibly be discussed on the telephone?" He didn't answer immediately. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a printed photograph, a high-resolution copy of the image Kate had shown him. He walked over to a side table, laid the photograph face up, and gestured towards it. It was a simple, damning piece of evidence. Camilla walked over, her heels clicking softly on the old wooden floor. She looked down at the image of her own hand, at the ring on her pinky. A flicker of something. Was it surprise? A wariness crossed her features before she regained control. She picked up the photograph, studying it as if seeing it for the first time. My. The paparazzi are getting terribly close, aren't they? I must remember to be more careful at these things. "Don't," Charles said, his voice sharp, a crack in his usual polite reserve. "Don't do that. Don't pretend this is about press intrusion." He took a step closer to her, his tall frame looming. "That ring. I want to know everything about it. Where it came from. How you got it. And why, in all our years together, you have never once shown it to me or spoken of it." Camilla placed the photograph back on the table with deliberate slowness. She took another sip of her sherry, using the moment to gather her thoughts. She had known this day might come. She had hoped it wouldn't, but she had prepared for it in her own way. Lying to Charles had never been her style. The foundation of their relationship, for all its moral ambiguity, was built on a brutal, shared honesty with each other. It was the honesty they showed to each other that had made their deception of others possible. "It's just a ring, Charles," she said finally. "An old thing I picked up years ago. I liked it. It's rather unusual." "It is more than just a ring, and you know it," Charles retorted, his voice rising. He pointed a trembling finger at the image. "That is a commemorative ring from the Ionian Islands, from Corfu. It has my father's birthplace written all over it, the boat, the lyre, the islands themselves. This isn't some trinket from a Portobello Road market stall, Camilla. This is a piece of my family's history. My father's history. A history that I know nothing about." Camilla's gaze hardened. The mask of nonchalant indifference slipped just for a moment. She saw the pain in his eyes, the genuine hurt of a son who felt a connection to his late father had been breached. It was a low blow, even for her, and she knew it. But retreat was not in her nature. "You want the truth?" she asked, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper, laced with a defiant edge. "Fine. You want to know where I got it?" She walked over to a small writing desk in the corner of the room, unlocked a drawer, and pulled out a worn, velvet-lined jewelry box. She didn't open it, just held it in her hand for a moment, a talisman of secrets. Then she walked back to Charles and placed it on the table next to the photograph. "I didn't buy it, Charles," she said, her eyes locking with his. It was given to me. A long, long time ago. Before you and I were even married. Before Diana." The air left the room. Charles felt the heat from the fire on his back, but a deep, bone-chilling cold was spreading through his core. He stared at the velvet box, then back at her face, trying to read her. She was opening a door he had thought was bricked over, a door to the messy, painful prelude to their life together. "Given to you?" he echoed, his voice a hollow rasp. "By whom?" Camilla let the silence stretch, a masterclass in dramatic tension. "By your father, Charles. By Prince Philip." The name hit him like a physical blow. He stumbled back a step, his hand reaching for the back of a chair for support. His father? The man who, publicly, had remained stoically supportive. And he thought of all the conversations, all the silences, all the unspoken understandings. Had he missed this? This secret bond? That's a lie, he stammered, but the conviction in his voice was already crumbling. Why would my father give you this? It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't it? Camilla said, a hint of pity in her voice now. He gave it to me, Charles, because he understood. He understood what you and I had, what we were to each other, long before anyone else in your family was willing to accept it. He saw how they treated you. He saw the misery of your first marriage, the unhappiness that was paraded as a fairy tale. He knew it was a sham. And he knew I was the one who could make you happy, who could give you the peace and stability you craved. She opened the velvet box. Inside, nestled on a bed of cream silk, lay the ring. In person, it was even more striking, the gold warm and heavy, the engravings deep and clear. He called me to see him at Buckingham Palace, she continued, her voice softer now, almost reverent. It was a few years before he died. He was in his study, surrounded by his books and his papers. We talked for a long time. About you. About the future of the monarchy. About duty and love. And how rarely they coincide. Charles was listening, transfixed, a hostage to her story. And then, Camilla said, lifting the ring from its case, he took this off his own finger. I had never seen him wear it. He told me it was one of the few possessions he had managed to keep from his childhood, a small reminder of the home he was forced to leave. He said it was a symbol of endurance, of survival. He said it had seen him through exile, through war, through a lifetime of service. She held the ring up, letting the firelight catch the gold. And then he gave it to me. He said, "You're going to need this more than I do now, my dear. The family will test you. The country will test you. But you have what it takes. You have the grit. Wear this as a reminder that you are stronger than any storm they throw at you." Charles stared at the ring, his father's ring in his wife's hand. The world tilted on its axis. The narrative of his life, the story he had told himself about his father's reluctant acceptance of Camilla, was shattered. And it wasn't acceptance. It was a blessing, a secret, private anointing. Philip had seen in Camilla the steel and resilience he himself possessed, the very qualities he perhaps feared his sensitive, romantic eldest son lacked. He had given her his most personal heirloom, a piece of his own battered history, as a charm, a shield, a symbol of his approval. He thought of his mother, the Queen, who had also, in her own way and in her own time, come to accept Camilla. But this was different. This was a clandestine handover, a secret pact made behind closed doors. The secrecy of it, the fact that his father had never breathed a word to him, was a betrayal of a different kind. It wasn't a betrayal of love, but a betrayal of trust, of the father-son confidence he had always believed they shared. He felt his carefully constructed world, the one he had built with Camilla on the wreckage of his first marriage, begin to tremble. "He never told me," Charles whispered, the words a lament. "He never said a word." "He couldn't, Charles," Camilla said, placing the ring back in its box. "You know how he was. He dealt in actions, not sentimental declarations. This was his way of telling me, and of telling the universe, that he approved. It was our secret. And I have worn it all these years as a promise to him, a promise to be strong. For you." She looked at him, her expression a mixture of defiance and a strange, triumphant tenderness. The room was silent save for the crackling fire. Charles stood motionless, the full, devastating weight of her disclosure settling upon him. The hidden ring was no longer a mystery, but a monument to a decade-old secret that had just rewritten his past. The revelation at Burke Hall did not bring them closer. It drove a wedge of bewildered silence between them. For Charles, the following days were a fog of introspection. He went through the motions of his public duties, meetings with privy councillors, the scrutiny of state papers, the waving to crowds, but his mind was trapped in a loop, replaying Camilla's words, conjuring images of his father in his study, slipping the ring from his own finger and placing it in hers. It was the secrecy that festered most. His father, the Duke of Edinburgh, the man who had taught him to ride, to shoot, to suppress his emotions, had shared this profound, symbolic act with Camilla, and had chosen to keep him in the dark. Why? Was he not strong enough to understand? Oh, was he not trustworthy enough to be the keeper of such a secret? Or was it something more painful, that his father saw in Camilla a resilience he felt his son lacked? The questions gnawed at him, eroding the foundations of his memories. He sought solace in the one place he always had, the vast, silent archives of his family's history. He retreated to the round tower at Windsor Castle, to the rooms housing the royal archives and the print room. He pulled files related to his father's early life, hoping to find a mention, a sketch, a photograph of the ring. He found nothing. He pored over inventories of Prince Philip's personal jewelry, compiled after his death. The ring was not listed. It was as if it had never existed in an official capacity. It was a ghost, a physical object that had been deliberately erased from the family record. Had given away a piece of jewelry. He had given away a piece of jewelry. He had excised a part of his own history from the official narrative, bequeathing it instead to a future he believed in. A future with Camilla at its heart. This realization brought a new, sharp pang of emotion. Jealousy. It was an irrational, almost childish feeling, but it was there nonetheless. His father had given his wife a piece of himself that he had never given to his son. A week later, he asked Kate to meet him again, this time at a small private cottage on the Sandringham estate. He needed to confide in someone, and she was the only person who knew the story's beginning. They walked together through the frost-covered gardens, watching Kate's face for any sign of judgment. He saw only empathy and a deep, thoughtful concern. When he finished, they walked in silence for a few minutes. Finally, Kate spoke, her voice quiet but firm. "It's an incredible story, Papa, and it changes things. But I wonder, have you spoken to Camilla about how it makes you feel? Not about the ring itself, but about the secrecy? About what it means for you and your father's memory?" Charles sighed, a long, weary sound. "I don't know how to. Every time I look at her, I see my father's ring on her finger. It's not a symbol of her strength anymore. It's a symbol of a conversation I was excluded from. It feels like a verdict on my entire relationship with him." "It wasn't a verdict on you," Kate said gently. "It was a gift to her. It was about her place in the family. He was giving her his approval, his blessing. That's a beautiful thing, in a way. The tragedy is that he couldn't give it to you both, together. He couldn't say, 'I trust you both with my legacy.' He chose the path of secrecy. That was his failing, not yours." Her words were a balm, but they didn't fully heal the wound. He knew she was right, but knowing and feeling were two different things. The real test, he knew, was yet to come. He had to face Camilla again, not with accusations, but with his own bruised heart laid bare. The confrontation, when it finally came, was not in the grandeur of a royal palace, but in the intimate setting of their private sitting room at Highgrove. Camilla was reading by the fire, the very picture of domestic tranquility. On her left hand, the gold plaques of the ring glinted in the firelight. Charles stood in the doorway, watching her for a long moment before she sensed his presence and looked up. "Charles," she said, marking her page and setting the book aside, "you've been wandering these rooms like a ghost for a week. Come, sit down, talk to me." He didn't sit. He walked slowly into the room and stopped a few feet from her chair. "I can't stop thinking about it," he said, his voice rough. "Not the ring, not even Father giving it to you. It's the fact that you both kept it from me. For years, Camilla. You sat across from me at dinner, you slept in my bed, you counseled me on my children and my mother and my duty, and all the while you shared this secret covenant with my father, a secret from which I was excluded." Camilla's expression softened, but she didn't look away. She had anticipated this. She had known the secret, once revealed, would demand a reckoning. It was his secret to tell, Charles, not mine. But it was about me. Charles's voice cracked, a rare display of raw emotion. It was about our life. He was giving you his blessing to be my wife, and he told you, not me. He never once looked me in the eye and said, "I'm glad you have Camilla. I approve of your choice." He just grumbled and accepted. And all the while, he was having these private audiences, passing on heirlooms, anointing you as the one with the grit to survive us. The bitterness in his voice was undeniable. Camilla rose from her chair and walked towards him. She reached out and took his hands in hers. Her fingers were cool, but her grip was firm. "Your father was a product of his generation and his upbringing," she said, her voice low and intense. "He couldn't have that conversation with you. He couldn't sit you down and speak of feelings and approvals and blessings. It wasn't in him. The stiff upper lip wasn't a joke, Charles. It was his entire emotional vocabulary. This ring, this was his language. This was him saying all the things he couldn't say." She lifted her left hand, letting the firelight play over the ring. "He gave me this because he knew I would understand the silence. He knew I would read the message in the object. He was trusting me to be strong for you, not because you are weak, but because your heart has always been too open, too easily wounded. He was trying to protect you, in the only way he knew how, by giving me the tools to be your shield." Charles stared at the ring, then at her face. He saw the truth in her eyes. It wasn't a conspiracy against him. It was a clumsy, deeply flawed act of love from a man who had never learned to express it. His father, the stoic naval officer, had tried, in his own way, to secure his son's future. The realization was a slow, painful thawing of the ice in his chest. He didn't fully agree with her interpretation, but he could see its logic, its painful, human logic. He pulled one of his hands free and gently touched the ring on her finger. The gold was warm from her skin. "It should have been both of us," he whispered. "He should have given it to both of us." "Perhaps," Camilla agreed softly. "But he didn't know how, so he gave it to me and trusted me to share its meaning with you in my own time. I'm sorry I waited so long. I was selfish. I wanted to keep that moment with him, that private endorsement, for myself. It was my armor. But I see now, it became a wall between us." She looked up at him, her gaze clear and unflinching. "It's yours now, Charles. It always was. It's your family's history. Do you want it back?" She began to slide the ring off her finger. The sight of it moving, of her offering to return his father's secret gift, was the final crack in his defenses. He closed his hand over hers, stopping her. "No," he said, his voice thick. "He gave it to you. It belongs on your hand. It's where he wanted it. I see that now." He drew her close, holding her tightly, his face buried in her hair. The anger, the jealousy, the sense of betrayal didn't vanish, but they were overshadowed by a profound, aching understanding. The ring was no longer a symbol of a secret pact, but a bridge between his past and his present, a flawed golden link in the long, complicated chain of his family's love. Time, as it always does for those in public life, moved on. The story of the ring, its revelation, and the turbulent emotions it had unleashed settled into the quiet bedrock of Charles and Camilla's private understanding. There were no more recriminations, no further late-night interrogations. An unspoken truce had been declared. A deeper layer of their long history had been acknowledged, and if not forgiven, then accepted. And the ring remained on Camilla's finger, a constant, glinting presence. To the outside world, it was simply a new piece of jewelry, a topic for idle speculation in the fashion pages. To Charles, it was now a daily reminder of his own complexity, his capacity for jealousy, his desperate need for his father's approval, and the enduring, complicated love he shared with his wife. It was a crisp spring morning, several months later, when the final piece of the puzzle fell into place. Charles was in the garden at Highgrove, his sanctuary, showing his eldest grandson, Prince George, how to properly prune a rosebush. The boy was earnest and curious, his young fingers gently holding the secateurs, just as his grandfather had shown him. They were joined by his son, William, who had come to collect George for a cricket lesson. And as the three of them walked back towards the house, William fell into step beside his father. "Kate told me," William said quietly, not looking at his father, his gaze fixed on George, who was running ahead. "About Grandpa's ring, about everything." Charles nodded slowly. He had suspected Kate would share the story with her husband. He was glad of it. The secrecy was over. "It's quite something," William continued, his voice thoughtful. "Grandpa, giving her that, it says a lot about him. And about her." "It does," Charles agreed. They walked on in companionable silence for a few moments. Then William spoke again, his tone carrying a weight that made Charles stop and turn to him. "I want you to know something, Papa. I know what that whole period was like for you, for everyone. Mummy. She was wonderful, but she was also in so much pain. And your life with Camilla, it was the thing that caused a lot of that pain for a long time. That's the truth, and we can't pretend it wasn't." Charles felt his heart clench. He opened his mouth to speak, to offer a defense that was decades old, but William held up a hand, gently stopping him. "I'm not here to refight old battles," William said. "I'm here to tell you something else. I've watched her, Papa, for years now. I've watched Camilla with you. I've watched the way she looks at you when you're tired, the way she steadies you, the way she makes you laugh. I've watched her with my children, the way she plays with Louis, the patience she has with Charlotte. I've watched her with the public, with the charities she supports. And, I've realized something." He looked directly at his father, his blue eyes so like his mother's. "Took me a long time to see it, to get past 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 it? to get past it, 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 to get past it. It took me a long time to see it, to get past everything else. But I see it now. Charles was utterly still, his eyes glistening. He had waited decades for this. Not for permission, not for absolution, but for this. The simple, honest acknowledgement from his son that the woman he loved, the woman whose presence had caused so much strife, was finally, truly accepted. This was a balm far more potent than any his father's ring could offer. This was the healing of the deepest wound. William smiled, a genuine, warm smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. So you can tell her from me that she doesn't need Grandpa's old ring as armor anymore. She's family. She's safe. He clasped his father's shoulder briefly, a gesture of solidarity, and then jogged ahead to catch up with his son, leaving Charles standing alone on the garden path. The spring sun was warm on his face, and for the first time in months, perhaps years, a profound sense of peace settled over him. He looked towards the house and saw Camilla standing at the drawing-room window watching them. She raised her left hand in a small wave, and the sun caught the gold of the 7 plaques on her pinky. It was no longer a secret, no longer a symbol of a clandestine pact or a father's unspoken communication. It was now just a ring, a beautiful old thing worn by his wife in a family that, at long last, felt whole. Charles raised his own hand and waved back, a smile breaking across his face, feeling the simple, profound truth of it. The lost control was not a loss at all, but a release, a surrender to the messy, beautiful, and finally peaceful reality of his life.